Hello and welcome to AM Guitar with me, Anjay. Today we are going to look at my pedal board. It's going to be more interesting than you think. So, as you can imagine, reviewing guitar stuff, I am very fortunate in that I get a lot of guitar stuff. I either buy it, I get it discounted, or I'm sent it, whatever it might be. And if I'm allowed to keep it, or I've bought it for myself, then it goes in a big crate. What ends up on here is, for me, the kind of the creme de la creme of the pedals that I've got, but also the ones that bring me the most use in a practical setting. So each one of these pedals does something that's important to me, and that will get used when I'm practicing at home, when I'm in the studio with a band, or when I'm playing live. And as you can see, it's quite a small board. I'll show you a close-up of it. I built it myself, as you'll be able to tell, out of supports and slats from a bed. And the idea is that it's just small, portable, and practical to use anywhere. And it will, more importantly, get me my sound on any amp setup, because I'm not always using my amp. In fact, I'm very rarely using my amp. In the studio, I'm using usually an old Marshall valve state. In the open mic nights, very often it's a Fender Blues Junior. And I've got a particular sound that I like, and this pedal board gets it for me on most setups with a few tweaks. So I'll take you through the signal chain, then take you through the pedals, and just show you what they do and why they're there. So we're going to start with the Maybury Guitars T-Type. This is one of my main go-to guitars because it's so versatile, it's so light. The P90 sounds beautiful, the pickup in the bridge is just really bright and kind of great for rock. Yeah, just love this guitar. The light thing is really important, so I've got a bad back. On the back of the headstock, I've got a Planet Waves clip-on tuner. That then goes into the pedal board, which is being powered by a very cheap Donna power supply. Goes into the TC Electronics sub and up, which, and wait for the bleeps on this one, goes into the JSA Fat, which is a kind of a clone of a Ren Fat, which is essentially a Rangemaster, which is used for a bit of tone shaping at the beginning, germanium, so it's really responsive. So that then goes into the JSA Bluesmaker, which is based on the Blues Breaker by Marshall, which is essentially an amp in a box. This is a FET variation. That then goes into the Velton Phaser, which then goes into my underfluked fuzzer, which, if I was only allowed to have one pedal, I'd probably take this with me because it takes me from kind of like nice crunchy blues all the way up to fuzzy rock and beyond, into a metal zone, which I'll explain in a moment, into an underfluked little treble maker, which is essentially a boost based on the Klon tone stack, into the TC Electronic Flashback Mini 2, Flashback 2 Mini. Three of these pedals are always on. So I'll go through those first. The first one is the Fat. So here's my clean sound without it. Nice and dry. First one is this. So it's essentially a treble booster, but with a few little tweaks. So got a little grip control and a boost control. It also has an EQ filter. Which allows me to kind of take some treble off a really trebly amp, or add some treble in, or take some bass out if I've got a really bassy amp. Then into the Bluesmaker. And all that gives me is just that little bit of crunch. again gives me a tone control to shape the tone a little bit if I want to. And that's the foundation of my clean tone, with the addition of the flashback. Which is just there to give me a little bit of kind of reverb, bit of repeat, and just thickens the tone up. So that's gone from my clean, so I'll leave the, in fact, no, turn that off. So that's the foundation of my entire tone, and a lot of the time that's all I'm using is the neck pickup with that, with the volume control. Now then, for kind of fuzzier bluesy tones, we use the fuzzer. So if I'm playing kind of a clean blues, and I want to kick into a solo, etc. So that just gives me a real kind of boost and fuzz and just gnarliness. Then if I want to thicken that up, I'll turn on the sub and up. And that's set for 1 octave down and a bit of octave up. And then we have the metal zone. Now, the reason for the metal zone is I was using the DS1 and I wasn't liking the tones I was getting from it. And someone suggested that I get hold of a metal zone because of the EQ in it. So you have a 4-band EQ. But they also suggested that I do a slight modification, which is to take out one of the capacitors, which does part of the huge mid-scoop that it's famous for. So if you kind of, if I do the old mid-scoop here, allows you to take some of the mids back, which is really cool, and produces what I think is a very, very good kind of martially sound. Me to go from kind of distorted blues all the way up to proper heavy metal. So that for me is a very versatile pedal. And then last but not least is the LTM, which is the little treble maker. Now this, like I said, it's based on a Klon tone stack, and I just use it as a boost. But you can use it as a treble boost. So let me turn the volume down a bit. If you pair it with the fuzzer, actually becomes a bit of a tone control for the fuzz as well. Oh, and it's not last but not least, of course. Last but not least is the phaser. Again, not an obvious choice. Now, I use it because I once saw Albert King playing with Stevie Ray Vaughan on a video and got the album as well. And he used a phaser to give him a bit of texture. And it makes you stand out a little bit. So if you're playing a bit of blues and you want to go into the, you want to be heard, because of the way the tone sweeps, you cut through. And if you, I have it on a very slow phase, but if you raise it up a little bit, drop down the depth. You almost get a kind of chorus effect. And these little two knob phases rather than the one knob phase where you've got depth and rate are very, very versatile. In the metal zone. Start to get some really cool sounds. So with this little effects board, I can go from nice, clean to crunchy blues to fuzzy Jack White type stuff, all the way up to Metallica and just about everything in between with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pedals. And I could probably do it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pedals. But like I said, these two give me my bass tone, that kind of that clean sound that I'm looking for on any amp. Oh, and of course, not forgetting, on the back, the obligatory pick tin with plectrums and things in it. Everyone has to have one of those. I used to have a mint tin mounted to the front with tools in it as well, but I needed the space for actual pedals. So there you have it. There's my board. I thought it was interesting more than anything else to understand that it's okay not to use every pedal you own, and that sometimes just having a nice little practical board like this that does everything. The word versatile came up in that so many times because that's what I'm looking for: versatility and simplicity. What I'd really love to see is hit me up on Instagram, Dave Rage on Instagram, or on Twitter, Dave Rage again, and send me pictures of your real sort of practical live boards. So I want to see what you guys are using on your boards. Are any blues players out there using a metal zone, for instance? Get in the comments. Tell me what you like, what you hate. Like, subscribe, and I will see you again very soon. Cheers. Thank you.